tell you this one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
My dear friend Mike, who actually produced Simple Things, he has this dream of making Project Runway Season 9 the musical.
No way. That's a really
so I have to tell the world about it. So he actually does it.
All right. It's official. He has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, as a musical, that'd be so good.
Mm-hmm. I know. It would be so good. It has everything that you need in a musical.
Don't just stop there, though. He should do every one of those television shows. Like those kind of shows, but as a musical, like a Broadway production, the whole season in like would be the Broadway play would be a season. And so each character, you have their rise and fall, and each ones that go away, and then they have their farewell song.
Right.
Every time they get kicked off. Oh, and then oh my gosh, this is deep.
Every show would be like 5 hours long.
It's so good.
It would be
That's a good idea. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's official. These cookies are so good. Just sugar cookies and frosting. I mean, come on.
It was just like the Fred Meyer sugar cookies.
They're homemade. So they make you thinner. It's like the exact opposite.
It's a health food.
It's
Yeah.
really gonna help them. It's fruit frosting. I'm sure the purple frosting is grape, right?
Yum.
And the black frosting is avocado. Anyway, there was a reason why, besides talking about television shows, I wanted to do this. Believe it or not. And eat cookies in front of you. So the reason I'm talking to you right now is because you are on one of my songs for the new album.
Yeah.
And that song's already released, actually. It's called Garden Loom, featuring Emily Anderson. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about you. And this is called Focus on the Feature, which is a play on Focus on the Family from like back in the day. I think it's still actually going. But anyway, I want to kind of focus on you. I don't know where I'm going to start this video when I release it.
Probably with Project Runway Season 9.
Okay, there you go. Musical. That's got to be in there. So anyway, so you're in California, but you still live in Alaska.
Yeah, I kind of give the illusion that I live both places, which is how I like it.
Okay, yeah, because you're always up here anyway, visiting and whatnot.
I'm just a snowbird, but I managed to do that in my 20s.
As you have to wait till you're at least in your 50s to do that. That's not fair. But sorry. So why did you end up relocating to California? How did that kind of whole move? Because you went full-time musician. Was that kind of the whole thing?
Yeah. So I went full-time musician in, was it 2017 or 2018? And then we moved down here in 2018, fall of 2018. Yeah. And my now husband and I just wanted to.
That was like last week, right? You guys got hitched?
We've been married a month. It's been 4 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm ready to give marital advice. Certainly.
Give me a call. Go to my Instagram, my website. You'll find my email.
Visit my blog. But yeah, we love Alaska. We love Fairbanks. But we could kind of see ourselves like plateauing a little bit in both of our respective careers. And we definitely want to come back to Alaska at some point in our lives. But I think just get out and like get a change of scenery, enjoy some sunshine. And I have a bunch of friends here that work in music and are like doing the full-time musician thing. So that is really helpful and inspiring. And it's just really nice to be like closer to that community. Even though there are also like amazing musicians and people that I love so dearly in Fairbanks. And so that's why it's been really nice to be able to go back and forth and still like kind of have a foot in both places.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you said you had friends in California already. Was that from when you went to school down there? Was that?
Yeah. So most of my friends after going to music school, they either went to Nashville or LA.
You went to Berkeley? Is that what it was?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Um, and so they like a few stuck around in Boston. Most of them went to Nashville or like straight out to LA, and I went to Fairbanks. And I'm really glad that I did. I feel like it was really good for me, and uh, I wouldn't have met my husband if I didn't do that. So, yay! Um, but yeah, so a lot of my closest friends from school ended up out here, and so now we get to live close to
Yeah,
each other, which is really nice.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you had help from them for the last two singles, right? For production. Yeah.
Yeah. So my friend John Silos did the production for Gold and Sarah,
Mhm.
and then my friend, uh, gosh, there were just like so many people that worked on those that were amazing. Um, so my friend Pamela also did violin, but she lives in Canada actually. So there's an international component
Oh my
also.
gosh.
um, yeah, and my friend Jess did the arrangement for the strings, and her husband played on it. He's a cellist, and he got together this amazing quartet for Sarah, and yeah, it was just a little cute Berkeley reunion out here.
Yeah, it was only the best of the best all doing things together. That's
Oh yeah, yeah.
real
So my
cute.
friend Andy, he lent us his studio.
Who was that?
And he does music for like National Geographic and the
Oh wow,
Discovery Channel, and he's awesome. So
it's a real
it's
deal.
been really fun.
Yeah, and that's kind of different from Simple Things, right? How that was recorded.
Actually, in a lot of ways, it's like the same
Because you got a
group of
grant.
friends.
You got the grant for that. The
Yeah, and my friend Mike, who's gonna write Project Runway season
okay,
9, the musical.
just plug
Um,
that again.
we met up in Boston and we recorded the title track in Boston, and then we drove to Nashville together and recorded with my friends from Berkeley that went to Nashville, and then we flew to LA and we recorded the rest of it here in LA,
Oh, yeah.
with my friend Sarah Tudson, who's
That's
of
awesome.
the Illuminati Hotties, who are amazing, and you should listen to them.
Yeah, actually, I listened to her new single. It popped up on suggested on Spotify, and I was like, that looks familiar because you were always talking about her. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was very impressed with it. The production is phenomenal. And so you and I have worked together a little bit. I'm trying to remember. I think didn't you? I don't know if I met you, but I know you. Didn't you do a recording with Daniel Randall at one time?
Yeah, that was my first
Yeah.
album. I was 16.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember actually listening to one of those songs, and then Tyler Williams did a music video for you. And anyway, it was so I kind of knew about you.
Mhm.
And I'm not from here. I moved here in 2009, I think.
Mhm.
Summer 2009, I think I did. But so yeah, it was like on the peripheral, and I'd seen you play shows and stuff. But I think the only time I don't remember the first time we ever actually sang together or played together. I don't remember at all. I know that we had done. Had we done the winter show, the house show together? Was that, or did we do night
That was
show?
the first time.
Okay, when you asked me to do that.
Yeah. Because I was just thinking like, okay, who in town would like be fun to play a show with and would like also resonate with the people that I know will like want to come to a show like this. And I was like, Josh Labuda would be so good. And so that was literally the thought process.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, that was so much fun. I
It,
really, that show was just so special. And um, yeah, that was one of my favorite shows I think I've ever done.
oh, awesome. It was the first show of that kind, in the sense that you have a very distinct way of, I don't know, like, as a performer, not just as a musician, but you're also a performer in the sense that you're very good at making the audience that's there like feel like they're part of the show. So I know that
Mhm.
there's
Thank
like
you.
there's the classic like there's a musician persona where like, oh, well, the band's playing and then I'm just observing, which is a way that some people decide to perform. But I think you're very keen on it, the interactive aspect. For
Mhm.
example, you made me write a song on the spot out of a hat, which is very nerve wracking, and I'd never done that before. And so it pushed me, and it was good. It was good. I actually found Tanya has a video of us singing. There was one about shoveling snow or something, and
Yeah, you wrote a really good one about February.
I did.
Yeah, that
Oh
was
gosh.
one of your improvised songs. Oh, I wish that I could remember it. There was a time when I could have sung it back.
It was so memorable. I forgot it immediately.
It was really good, everybody. Um, there was some song like about corgis.
Oh my gosh. There was didn't you have that one though? You had the corgi
I
song?
think I had a corgi song.
I think you had the corgi song. Oh yeah, the song was about February. Why is there what's with the R? And that might have been it. I can't remember. And the snow shoveling one, the excerpt Tanya snapped was about feeling upset that because your neighbor had a had a snow plow on his 4-wheeler and you had to do it by hand. Um, but yeah, it was really crazy because it really pushed me to write on the spot. Um, and yeah, I did something that I had never done, and everybody's just watching you sweat,
Right.
waiting, and you won't, and
And
you
they're
want.
sweating too. Like they're like, what are they gonna
What are they
do?
gonna say? And I
How
think,
are they gonna do this?
are they gonna pull this off? And yeah, so I guess my question was like, that style of performing, was that something that you had seen and wanted to emulate, or is it kind of an overflow from like a personality of wanting that camaraderie, or maybe both? It could be both, I suppose.
Yeah, so I actually got that idea from doing Parlor in the Round in Anchorage, and that's a show that is like songwriter in the round style, and then there is an element of the audience participating. And Kevin Worrell of the Super Saturated Sugar Strings is like the magnanimous host, and he like does such a good job orchestrating those shows. And like so I loved the lightning round. I loved and hated the lightning round where you like draw or he draws a bunch and then like talks about them, and he does a whole shtick, and he's delightful. Um, and then he chooses one for you or the performer that he's interacting with. And I just love that idea. And I was just like, this is such a fun way to get to connect with the audience and like really get their voice heard as well. And like, it's a fun challenge for me as a songwriter because every single time you think like, this is impossible. I'm never going to be able to do this. This is insane. And then like, you're able to do something, and it's always a surprise for yourself. And so that's like, I feel like that's the same for writing songs in general too, because you start with nothing, and like then magically like something happens, and then you have something. And so I feel like this just like really speeds up that timeline. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so fun. So that's where I got the idea. And I just have been incorporating that into my shows because I love it.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I can definitely tell. I think there are people that end up at your shows, like the same people that go. And I've played a couple shows with you. We played with Paige at that music place, and
I love Paige.
she needs an album out, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know what her issue is. Every song she showed me has been awesome.
I need Paige Compton the musical.
I know. There you go. Oh man, that would be good.
You need to tag her in this video.
All right, it's done. Beep,
We're
boop,
waiting.
beep boop, beep boop. And so we did that, and then we did and we had the house show. Without the timeline's messed up. Anyway, there's the house show, and then you invited me to open for you for the gold single release, and I'm gonna do the thing where Emily Anderson has 2 new singles out. Is that right? You have 2 right now still?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have Sarah and you have Gold, which are awesome, and they're streaming everywhere. And they sound incredible. They are. I don't mean this to diminish. I've already told you this, but not to diminish your earlier catalog. But I think like sonically and vocally, I think it's definitely the more mature. They're growing songs. I think it definitely shows your growth as a musician. So they sound great. And the album artwork for Gold is super cool. So I don't know. Do you know who did the photography for the Gold single?
Yeah. Stephanie Folk.
Mm-hmm.
Folk. Yeah. She just got married.
Mm-hmm.
She did the photography, and I went to Ulta before the photo shoot with my sister, and we tried to find all this golds, eyeliner, glitter and stuff, and then Stephanie painted me, and that was a super fun photo shoot. I just love working with her.
Yeah.
Latitude 64 photography.
There it is. Check it out.
Yeah. Gotta support local.
Please.
And then my friend Tiffany Frampton did the editing and the text for both Sarah and Gold.
Cool.
And she was someone that I worked with when I worked at Tyler's agency. Yep. And I just love Tiffany. So awesome. It was, yeah.
Yeah, they look really good.
I don't know, having talented people in your life, it's so fun.
It's very helpful, and it's a lot of fun to work with someone that you know, because we've all worked with people to do things that we didn't know, whether it be mixing, mastering, or album art or promotion. And it's very different experience. And so working with someone you know in that respect, I'm gonna get back to what we were talking about before, but I just want to say that I work with my wife with a bunch of the videography stuff and editing and photography. The 2 singles that Once a Future has released, she did the photography for both of them. And basically held my hand through the text as well, figuring out what text to use and stuff. So it's great. And so
and your branding is so clear and well thought out and consistent. You're a good team. Yay.
Yeah, I agree. And so anyway, so go back. So your singles are out. They're awesome. But then we did the Gold release show. That's why that came up. So we did you asked Joel and I to open for you for your Gold single release show at the dance theater, the dance
Goldies.
Yeah, by Goldies, that's right. Which was gold release at Goldies. That's all you. That's definitely something you
very important.
You too. And that was fantastic. And that was definitely more on the traditional show. But the audience interaction was still there. And like I said, it's a bleed over from I think the great rapport you have with your fan base. And it's knowing there's definitely a point I think if you have in the beginning where you'll have a musician and their friends and family will go see them. But that usually kind of where it stops, if they can't if there's not, they can't build a relationship outside of that. You need more than just people that know you to pretend they like you, like your music. There needs to be more than that. And so it's been cool seeing like the same people showing up because they enjoy you as an artist and as a person. So it was just every time I played with you, it's more and the same people together because they're bringing their friends and they're like, she's awesome and this is going to be great. And it is. So that's really cool. I just wanted to say that. So
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm super grateful for the people that keep showing up.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And then they like talking to me afterwards. They're like, "So who are you? And what are you playing with her?" And that's always a good conversation. So yeah, I've kind of been in this town for over a decade, but playing music. But whatever. Emily's definitely. You got.
Well, most people know Young Fangs.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
The Young Things.
Yes.
Man, let me tell you what. Talking about branding. Don't put fangs, or don't try to be clear. Have the words in your band name be clear, unless you're very famous. Because this conversation. So I was in a band called Young Fangs. You already know this, of course. From like 2011 to 2016 ish, and every time people would ask, "What's the name of your band?" It was usually they're in a bar at like 1 a.m. While the music's playing. And so I'd go, Young Fangs. And they would go, Young Fangs? Your band's Young Fangs? I said, no, it's Young Fangs, like teeth. And they would say they either go, like vampires, or they would say, you know what, you should change your name to the Young Fangs. That was the two options we always got. Because that was a great conversation.
That never dawned on me.
Are you serious? Oh man.
No. Well, I think that I also like saw because I first saw you perform at Joel's place, and so I think like I had the visual of like the poster or whatever.
Oh,
and so I didn't have that.
Just carry a poster with me everywhere. Yeah. This is what we're called.
My brand.
This is my brand. You want to buy a poster? Mess it up again. Oh man. Yeah. So for the new album that's coming out, so how's that going? Are you still in the writing or engineering process or?
Gosh, the spreadsheet for the new one just makes me look like I'm a crazy person. I have changed the track list so many times. I have like 50 songs on the list that I keep like changing my mind. And I think I just need to like begin and I have a couple tracks that like I have worked on and they're like pretty much done. And then I got sidetracked with like a new song that I want to release as a single now sooner. And like I'm also working with a producer in Anchorage on like an EP. So
oh wow.
It like and so all really good stuff that I'm excited to be working on. But and I think the album is going to be really good and it is coming out. I just don't know when.
Okay. And that's because along with the EP, are you allowed to say who you're working with in Anchorage, or is that top secret?
Yeah, Joshua Jeffries.
Oh yeah, Josh, that's right. Yeah,
I love
Gardens. Well, I think he went to Nassie. His new project. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we're gonna be releasing it as like a collaboration EP.
Cool. Oh, that'd be neat. That'd be his music and yours will be a cool combination.
Yeah, it's been so fun to work with him, and like I have these songs that are a little weird and like don't really fall into the folky land or the singer-songwriter land, and so it's been nice to have like a home for them. Yeah. And like I just it's been so fun and easy to work with him.
Yeah, good. That's awesome. So yeah, working on those EPs and then the full-length album, but you also have a Patreon.
Yes.
So what's that? I've heard a little bit about it, but I don't know exactly how that works. The Patreon.
So basically, it's like the place where I I can put all the music that is like that I've been working on, and that is either a work in progress or a demo that I made or just something that I is done but I might not release under my artist name or might not release ever. Um, and so that's just been a place for me to like share music with my like closest fans and support group, and anyone can be a patron. You can, and I've made my like levels so that no matter what level you pledge, you get everything. And yeah, so I started that about a year and a half ago, and it has been a total lifesaver. I could not be doing what I'm doing without my patrons, and that I'm just so incredibly grateful for them.
Yeah. I do hear that too. Like people that have, especially that have been able to tour, or to co-write, like you know the way they usually do, and it's that I can't imagine, because for me, I still work my job at the U, and so I'm able, when all that happened, I was able to kind of I wasn't completely dependent on playing live. But yeah, for like the real musicians, you know, and like you, it's a big thing, and so, and you guys have, like, I've seen a lot of people like make it work within the bounds of how we're supposed to behave now with social distancing and wearing masks. I saw you once. Was it Aerial Silks, and you were singing through a mask, and that
worked fine.
You gotta do what you gotta do, and so I was very impressed. So, so there was that. So that Patreon so it's up for anybody to help you out with and get that content.
And so. I post a lot of fun stuff to it, and it's also got the audience participation thing of like I will take a suggestion from my patrons and write a song for them. Nice. So you can like send me a suggestion and I'll write you a song. So that's really fun, and that's a nice outlet for me now, especially like when I don't get that in-person audience interaction that I really miss. So it's been nice to get to like chat with them and talk with them in the comments and stuff. So yeah.
That's cool.
So I actually just posted something a little bit ago that is going to be the new single that I'm going to release. So I posted a demo for the new single.
So if anybody wants to hear the demo for the new single, go to Emily Anderson's Patreon, and it'll be there.
Get all the behind the scenes.
Yeah. So
I also did the other one that I did recently was I did a side-by-side of like a mixed version of a song versus an unmixed.
Yeah.
So I shared like the raw, like totally unmixed, no effects files, and then the final product, like after the engineer goes in and makes it beautiful.
Very different.
So, like, real good for your ego, you know.
Dry vocals way too high in the mix. It's one. Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff I really like sharing that kind of behind the scenes info, and because no one really knows like what we do, you know.
Anyway, so just a few more questions, and these are more specific, I guess. So what have you been listening to lately that's been inspiring for writing specifically? Like it really inspired you to write these new songs or compose them or engineer them?
Well, let's just bring up the inspiration playlist.
Oh my gosh.
Might as well. Phoebe Bridgers on it.
Don't mess it up. You can't mess it up if you got the list there.
I know. I'll make it public. Actually, it might be public. We'll see. So there's a songwriter that I feel like she should be more famous than she is. Liz Longley Have you heard of her?
Mm-mm.
Oh, she's really good. So Never Really Mine is on my inspiration list. Mira. Do you know Mira?
Mm-mm.
Advisory Committee.
Oh my gosh, no. Should I know these things?
Uh,
I'm
Mira?
looking up Spotify. Do you mean Miranda Lambert?
No.
No. Mira,
No hate on Miranda Lambert, though.
the
But
Mira the Royal Detective? That's what I'm getting.
um, it's just Mirah.
Oh, H, like Mariah,
Mhm.
like Mariah Carey.
Yeah. Sylvanesso.
Oh, I love Sylvanesso. Oh yeah.
Big fan. So the Nessie collaboration has some Sylvanesso vibes.
Awesome. Yeah.
Kate Miller Heidke. Do you know who she is? She was originally an opera singer, and then she like turned pop artist, and she's Australian. Incredible, crazy voice, so good. Got some Casey Musgraves.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, her record, so good. Maggie Rogers, Lucy Dacus.
Yeah, she actually did a Bruce Springsteen cover, and that's how I learned about her.
So the Hotties and Lucy toured together.
Oh wow, look at that. Cool.
So Lucy, I can attest, is a wonderful human in real life, you know?
In the real life, not just Instagram life.
Not just Instagram life. I have Illuminati Hotties on this list. I want to keep your dog. I sing background vocals on that one, so if you listen I got some Carole King, because love my girl Carole King. Got some Sam Phillips.
Sam Phillips?
I have been listening to a lot of Sam Phillips lately. She did the soundtrack to Gilmore Girls.
That's
So she does like la 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 la, like that's all her.
That's awesome. And that's why it was on TV for so long. It was that intro.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my snapshot.
Awesome. Good.
Huh.
And so along with that, I also wanted to ask, I guess so when you're listening to music or a record or however you're streaming or on playlist, and there's a song that kind of catches your fancy or you find meaningful, like what do you think it is about a song that makes it meaningful in that way? Not just catchy or not just good, but like meaningful to you. What do you think that would be?
I think like just anything honest is I think that's the key, is like if you can hear that honesty and that like authentic thing in the writing and in the performance and in the music, like that's what gets me. And it doesn't really matter what the genre is or who's singing it. It's the like, can you hear the honesty? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that's really the ticket for me.
Cool. Yeah, it's especially now that I think it's getting anything, you can make anything sound really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that kind of still remains. I think that's why I think live music is still alive the way it is, because of that connection to the artist that you can have in a live performance. I mean, Gorillaz did it where they have all basically just holograms of the artists on stage, and so like wouldn't that be enough if it sounds like the album? Wouldn't that be enough? And I don't think so. I think there's something to maybe like also how famous, like when people release an acoustic version of a song, a live acoustic version of a song, it's because there's that honesty that's found in that place. Like, you don't have the strings, you don't have the production level, or the percussion or the edits. You have the person playing the song as stripped down as you can, and people want to see that. And I think finding a good song, like you're saying, and finding a good song or a meaningful song is, can I hear the honesty through what they're saying, or the thing, like you're saying, that thing. It's like, I know, it's funny how it's hard to describe what makes it good in a lot of ways, but you can.
Right, and of course, like there's a subjectivity to it, because like the things that were meaningful to me when I was 13 are not the same things that are like really meaningful to me now. And so I think it really depends on like what is your life experience and what is the moment that you're experiencing right now. And so that you're going to need different things at different points in your life. And that's what's so great about music, is that you can change and grow along with your musical tastes and desires.
And you can always go back to the old stuff too, to kind of like pull back and remember, that is really nice. Like how music can be such a time capsule, like you were saying, of experience in the time in your life. So that's I think one of the big values. I think that art in general can do that, but I think like music itself can do is it can really bring you back to a certain time or emotion or feeling, and then it can give you perspective, from and I think perspective is very important, especially as like you, an artist who's doing this now for a living. You can get really downhearted about maybe where you're going or how unsure things are, but you always have those old recordings of yourself, and memories with that, recording it. Did you record that in Daniel's parents' house, that first album you did? Yeah.
I recorded in the like guest room or the gym. But the gym had a closet, and there was just like a mattress in the closet.
The sound. We're isolating in there too. We did. I did a lot of. We actually all the drums for the Young Things album that never got released.
Oh no!
We're done there. All the drums were done there in the gym, on top all the pads and everything.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was. You gotta do it where you gotta do it. You gotta make it happen. I mean, you can't just sit around, be like, well, once a really cool studio shows up in Fairbanks, Alaska, that I can afford, then I'll start writing my album.
Right.
And that's not a very good way to start out. You got to start. What can I do with what I have, where I am? Right.
And that's kind of what I'm looking at now with this record too, because like we had plans, we had all plans. It was going to be done in April, and like so we're just doing the best with what we have.
But you didn't give up, you didn't give up, and that's really important. So I just want to say thank you for talking with me.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for singing on the track. I already told you this, but I want to say to everyone that I recorded this song called Garden Loom, and I sent it to Emily to sing harmonies or whatever she wanted to sing on it. And then I got it back and I listened to her harmonies, and I actually started crying because it sounded so good. And it sounded amazing. And it meant, I don't know, it's most of my recording and writing is done in my office between the hours of, I work nights, so it's between the hours of like 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. And so I don't know, it's just, as a musician, it's a very different experience. Like, are people going to enjoy what I make, and isn't this time worth it? But in that moment, it felt really good that it was made. So I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you. And I'm excited to hear what comes out with you and Josh. It's gonna set. I'm super stoked for that. It's gonna be kind of a cool genre change. Yeah, I bet you're stoked to see that happen. But anyway, thank you so much. And,
thank you so much for letting me collaborate with you and sing your song
as much as you want to. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, just keep sending me.
Keep sending you stuff. All right. All right. Bye, Emily.